Hello, folks. Happy Friday to you all. Welcome to this new session of Hang On with RAKStars. This is commonly a space where we share with passionate members of the RAKwireless community, and or as we call them, our RAKStars, to talk about their journey, their experiences, their hacks. But today's session is going to be quite different as well as the previous one, since this week, we launched a new development kit next to Helium, our great partners, the first Helium Developer Kit. So today we're going to have an unboxing of the kit and also talk a little bit more about all the things the Helium people is doing at the moment. For those who are joining for the first time, I am Maria Hernandez, Developer Relation Lead at RAK. And with me, our solution architect Jose Marcelino, and Travis Teague, Developer Growth Lead at RAK. Welcome, guys.
Hello, Maria.
Hello. How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. It's good to see the two of you. Thanks for having me on the show today.
No, thanks for accepting our invitation, as always. And I can say that the result of the kit that we're going to be unboxing today is a huge collaborative effort that you made, like Jose and Travis. So before getting started with everything, could you share like how was this collaborative process and how was for you to see like this become a reality?
Yeah, I'll jump in here. It was great, working with Jose and RAK on the process on getting the box kit together and deciding exactly what we wanted to be in the kit, kind of, the direction we wanted to take it. And, dealing with box art, because we had a lot of different iterations, getting everything together and working with the designers on both sides of the fence here. But no, it was great. I think it came out exactly how we had kind of envisioned this. And, if the numbers, could speak, it looks like the community is really liking what we put together here. So, yeah, it's been great.
Amazing. Yeah, I think like the community is getting crazy about it. Like we sold out the first batch in just a couple of hours. So yeah, the numbers can out by itself. Amazing.
Yeah, it's a nice kit. And we'll put you to work, right, Travis, today? I think you're going to do...
Oh, yeah. We can definitely give a rundown on, I guess we'll do an unboxing initially, and then we can kind of talk about... I want to talk about the expansions that RAK released in your spring release, this past week. And because all of those can be used, with this kit, these WisBlock modules. So I do want to make sure that we go over those as well.
Amazing, of course. We can jump on that as well. So yeah, before starting with unboxing, we can jump on a few questions just to inform the people a little bit more about Helium and all the things that you are doing. And as every week, if anyone who are connected have any question, feel free to leave it on the comment section. I will keep an eye every time that a question pops up, and if it's relevant, we can place it on time, or we can leave it for the Q&A session at the end. So we already had like a previous session with Travis, which was like completely dedicated to his career path as well, to talk a little bit more in depth about all the things that Helium is doing, as well as the upcoming projects they have. But and today's session is going to be more related to the Helium Developer Kit. So just before I start, maybe not all of the people who are connected knows about Helium. So can you give us like a brief introduction about Helium and the promising technology it's offering?
Yeah, absolutely. But before we get into that, what do you say about why don't we give one of these things away to someone on the
show? I love that.
Because we sold out, and I feel bad that we sold out so quickly. And so, if someone's watching today, and Maria, I'm going to leave this up to you as to how we give this away today.
Okay, we can leave it by the end of the session, so more people can be connected, so we can give a nice round by the end of this. So thanks for giving that away on our show.
Excellent. No, I think that's a great idea, and I'm just really looking forward to getting these out in the hands of developers right now.
Everyone is excited in the comments. Yeah, woo!
Yeah, good deal. Nice. Yeah, I can't see any of the chat up here, so that's but good deal. definitely want to get more of these out there. But a brief history, I guess, of Helium. And I'm going to make this very, very brief because we have a lot to go over with the unboxing today. But Helium, I'm sure most of you have heard about us. We are the largest LoRaWAN network in the US now, and very soon to be the world. And it's a public network, but that doesn't mean that the data that you're pushing over the network is public. I mean, this is encrypted. This is it allows you to have your own applications that you can write on top of the Helium network. This is LoRaWAN, and so any off-the-shelf LoRaWAN device can function on the Helium network. It is low data rate but very long range, and so you can effectively hit satellites, within nodes here. But we're talking miles, kilometers, whatever region you're in. Very long range line of sight. But it also works very well because it's sub-G. It works very well in urban environments where you have a lot of concrete, metal, different building materials. The penetration is higher than many higher frequency protocols and radio systems. So if you're looking, for example, at some of the verticals, like what smart agriculture, smart buildings, temperature sensors, and just to kind of highlight this. For example, some of the sensors you can put on the network. This is a light intensity sensor with an IP rated, ruggedized, industrial casing that you can put out in the field for getting light readings. We have another company which manufactures this. It's called an Oyster. It's a GPS tracker unit, so you can LoJack someone's car. Don't do that, by the way, or check your local regulations first. But this allows you to monitor in real time the location of an asset. It could be a pallet, it could be a car. It could, you could just Velcro this on your back, and it'll track your location. There's some other devices. These are cool. This is an M5 stack, which allows you to develop on an ESP32 board, and they're stackable. So this has a LoRa board on it. It has a GPS board. It has a screen, and then it has a QWERTY keyboard on it. So there's just a huge amount of devices. This is more of a developer board, kind of along the same lines as the WisBlock that ST Micro makes. And this has a soil moisture sensor that's attached on it. So really, if you have an idea, and that's why we have been working with RAK to develop this WisBlock Helium kit. So if you have an idea up in your head, you can get it implemented in a very scalable fashion, working with RAK to bring your idea from prototype to production. So if you have any questions, or if you don't have an account at console.helium.com, get over there, get an account. You'll get a ton of free data credits, and those allow you to pass data over the network. And jump on our Discord, which we'll have links up here, at some point, in the show. But go to helium.com, scroll to the bottom. It's got links there. You can find us. There's always someone willing to talk helium for you. So
amazing. One thing to highlight here is that all the sensors, like the first sensors that you just present us, they are ready to use sensors, but let's say that all of those wire connectors want to be their own sensors and also then scale them. That is why we have now the Helium Developer Kit for all of those who wants to start build their own things as they want, fully customizes in terms of hardware, in terms of software, in terms of encapsulation, everything. There's the possibility to just play with it and go and scale easily with your own products on there, of course, the People's Network, which is pretty awesome.
Absolutely, yeah.
One thing that is super interesting about Helium is how the mining side, driving by the hotspots deployments, is linked with the IoT side, which is the sensor. Then sensors and devices deployment. So how important would you say is encouraging sensor development in a long-term plans of the Helium network?
I think it's crucial because what's special about Helium is there is an incentive to build the network and to build valid network coverage. We now have over 28,000 deployed hotspots on the Helium network, and we have well over 200,000 more on boat, that are working their way out to deployment. And so the network and coverage on the network is going to just explode this year, and we're very excited about that. But there are different methods of this incentive program, right? And you earn something called HNT, which is a cryptocurrency, by providing valid network coverage, by validating network coverage, and by relaying traffic. And the percentage of each of these is going to change over time. And the amount of your earnings or your rewards via HNT by relaying traffic across the network is going to increase. And so there absolutely is a reason that everyone should be excited about, companies, individuals, startups, developing applications on, using the people's network and starting to get traffic going over this network that we've built over the past 18 months. So,
yeah, it's super important to get not just deploying the network, but using it. It's super important for the long-term plans, of course. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah,
it's great.
And where are the most relevant IoT applications so far in the Helium network? There's any exciting application that you have seen developers so far?
Yeah, I mean, actually, there's so many of them. It's hard for me to kind of pick these out. But there's a gentleman, Nick, who is doing tracking of parasailing out in California. Wow. And he's done some write-ups on this. It's absolutely fascinating. It looks like a whole hell of a lot of fun out there. But, doing tracking using some of the GPS units, actually the exact units that I just showed a moment ago. These guys made by a company, Digital Matter. This is an off-the-shelf device that, you can put up on the Helium network. We've had great experience with those. And he's using those for parasail tracking. We have companies that are working with us who have developed custom sensors. And so, if your heater or your water heater blows up and you've got a flood, you're immediately notified. There's a company, Victor, who recently just released a new mousetrap system. And they literally built a better mousetrap. And so when these are deployed, they know immediately when they've captured a rodent, and so they don't have to send their their utility folks out to check these traps. They know exactly when one has been triggered, and these can be multiply triggered, right? So it's not just a one mouse device, but they know exactly when someone needs to go out and collect, clean the trap, refresh it, and so you're not wasting your technician's time. Going to check on things. There have been implementations of trash bin collection. And so you're not sending people out to a trash bin that doesn't need to be collected, right? And so, getting that data just on the bins that need to be emptied, and then calculating or recalculating the path, that your collector is going to take, can optimize your fuel, can optimize your employee labor time. There's all of these great implementations that I've been seeing come up lately, and it's all running on the Helium network. So, which is the people's network, which everyone is part of building this, and everyone owns a piece of this. So we're very excited, to see these use cases coming about.
Yeah, and more use cases are going to be coming in the near future. These are just to name a few, but we are pretty sure there are many things to cover for the different industries. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And a while back we ran the IoT for Good contest over at Hackster.io, and had so many good ideas submitted by the community. I wish more people could have won there, but all of those projects are available through our new documentation site at docs.helium.com. Kind of scroll down, there's community projects, and you can see exactly how all these projects were implemented, and pull their code up on GitHub, see exactly how they did this, And so please take some time to go over those projects. There's a lot of cool stuff there.
Definitely. Actually, that is one of that I wanted to ask, but as you mentioned, Helium already have 28 hotspots already deployed on the hotspots. Sorry, already deployed on the network, and also have a solid commitment to reach 150,000 by this year. So it's like a huge number, as you say. Like
We'll
we
hit
are
that.
going
Yeah.
to explode
Yeah.
the network across the world. So this wide coverage, like for any standard LoRaWAN compliant sensor, like there is no contract, no NDAs or secret handshakes are needed to launch like these applications. So this is all based on open source stacks for making
Correct.
it easier for multiple vendors. So we can say that this is a huge opportunities for developers, like for IoT developers, to start building IoT solutions on the network. Like the People's Network, the Helium combines multiple communities, like the blockchain community, the crypto community, and the IoT community. But we can say like all of those who are involved with development have a huge benefit from all the things that we are doing together right now. So what kind of initiative Helium is doing to empower this developer to create new solutions for the People's Network? The IoT for Good was one thing, but what other kind of projects or events are you doing to empower these people?
Okay. Wow, that's kind of leaves it wide open for me here. I would say that you mentioned open source, and Helium is almost pretty much entirely open source. Our console is open source. Our router is open source. If you want to be involved in, directly changing these interfaces, jump on, go to GitHub, clone this down, and make some pull requests. And we would love to have the community more involved in these open projects. And so we absolutely encourage that. We have just an explosion, especially recently, of third-party applications that have been developed, for the Helium network, for mapping, for seeing the earning of hosts, operating on the network. We have placement maps, so you can kind of optimize where you deploy your hotspots to maximize your H&T earnings on the hotspot, on the network. So,
which at the same time is the coverage, right? So at the same time you're optimizing coverage. So it all makes
absolutely,
sense.
Absolutely. Because what we're not promoting is someone just stacking these up in their basement, right?
Exactly.
Because that doesn't help build the network. And there are algorithms that are built in here that don't reward that type of behavior. They reward if I actually am providing valid network coverage in my area where I'm deploying. And so, and I think people understand that. They understand that, so I earn more H&T if I provide valid coverage on the network. And so with that incentive, we've just been able to blow this coverage up. So we're very excited about that. And now I do want to comment one thing and say that I know that over the past, over a year, COVID has completely changed the way that everyone is working. Everyone is being able to interact socially. And as we see vaccines or whatnot coming out, and people are actually, coming to a point where they can come back together in certain areas, with obviously certain restrictions, I really want to promote local user groups and meetups, because we're becoming a global Helium community here. And I really want to see these local meetups, start to take root. So,
do you think we'll see a Helium conference sometime?
I can't speak on that this year. I would love to. I mean, it's something we have definitely discussed internally, but it's something that we want everyone to be safe, and that's the number one concern. And so until we have more information about how everything kind of is sussed out there, we can't make announcements or any speculation.
I know.
Nice. And how do you see the future of the sensor technology? Like AI and tiny machine learning seems like a key player for low power, low cost, low data rate nature for the People's Network.
I think we're going to see, and we have already seen, like with Tiny ML, a lot of machine learning, on the edge applications running and on a variety of different devices. I think that's just going to explode, a lot more in the coming months, years. But for example, when we're looking at predictive maintenance, when we're saying, okay, I've got this huge multi-million-dollar motor contraption set up, and I want to know when before it breaks down, and I want to have those parts on hand so I can minimize my downtime, to be as short of a window as possible. And so if something is about to go wrong on this, I want, to have some automatic system that has already sourced the parts, priced them for me. I've got a report in front of me saying, okay, so when this thing blows up, this is what we need. This is who have the parts in stock, and we can get, the ball rolling before I see smoke over here, right? And just for example, but that's something that, coming back to the WisBlock kit, being, the industrial nature of it, it's something that you absolutely can build applications like that. So, I think it's very exciting to see machine learning on the edge, and we're going to see a lot more of it.
Amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think that could help with hotspot deployment as well? Like if you show a solution to someone, you can say, "Oh, can I put a hotspot there?" And I also will monitor your motor, for example. Do you think that could be? Yeah.
No, absolutely. I think that in order, and that's a question I get asked a lot, honestly, is because a lot of people will buy a number of hotspots from, from RAK, Helium doesn't sell hotspots anymore, but we have a number of third-party vendors that do sell hotspots. And, the question, someone will buy a lot of these and then say, okay, well, how do I convince a host to let us, put this up? Give them a use case. Provide them with sensors. Say, look, here's something you can hook up that will allow you to do, X, Y, Z. For another example, this is just made by a company, Dragino. This is off the shelf, but this is, it's a metal, enclosure that allows me to talk Modbus, and so I can communicate with a lot of, SCADA systems or older, like PLC type systems over LoRaWAN, and give them a use case that benefits what they're doing. Maybe that's just a door contact sensor, so they can tell whenever their outside doors have been opened, and have that all logged into a Google spreadsheet, for example.
Could be as simple as that. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Nice.
And RAKwireless and Helium has been growing together during the past year, and we started deploying thousands of hotspots in the US. Then we start going around Europe, then reach on other continents. And now, as we just mentioned, it's time to start building solution as well on the network. It's not trying to expand the network, but also to start solving real problems based on this powerful network that we have. So that is important thing that we also need to boost this solution quickly, as the same way the hotspot has been doing during the past months. So that is where we can say that the Helium Developer Kit comes in the game, right? So
sure.
I am wondering why, among all the developer kits, IoT developer kits that are in the ecosystem, in the IoT community, why to choose the WisBlock ecosystem for the Helium Developer Kit?
Okay, no, that's a good question, because I played with, I think, pretty much most of the ones on the market. Or most of the developer boards out there. I've at least played with them at some point or another. What I love about WisBlock is what I mentioned earlier, the prototype to production, and this is something that you folks could probably expand on a little bit on how if I am a developer and I have this great idea and I get it going, using this kit. And then what now? Do I just order a bunch more of these kits and then try to, or I can actually go to RAK and say, okay, I need a lot of these, and just hand that to you, right?
Yeah.
And you can do production runs of various quantities for this end developer, right?
Yep.
That's
absolutely.
cool. That's cool. That's hugely empowering for, especially for startups and for individual developers. Because hardware is hard. I know you probably hear that a lot, but hardware is hard. And especially right now when we have component shortages and just all sorts of madness going on, to be able to have a modular kit that I can use in an industrial environment and have a partner company, just out of the box that will work with me with my prototype to get this out in quantity in production, that's I wish I had this years ago. This is huge. So
completely agree with you. Like I have the same thought when I hear about the WisBlock for the first time. Like, okay, I need this tool like months ago, years ago when I started working with IoT projects. Yeah, like the thing that allows you to develop hardware in a agile way, it is awesome. Like you can just prototype with the same hardware that you can go to production. You can test quickly. You can fully customize it because at the end, okay, yeah, it is a product, but it is also an open source project that allows you to create and be creative in case that, let's say that any of the modules, any of the sensor actuators or whatever thing that that your application needs is not available in the WisBlock ecosystem, you can just refer to the documentation, and if you have like those hardware skills, you can build by your own and quickly scale with us. Like we already have like the experience working with hardware. That is why we are powering 1,000 of hotspots worldwide, and also 1,000 of different kind of sensors and nodes. And now with the WisBlock, the idea is to just help those developers, those startups, or companies who are looking to start with IoT solution in an easy way, and not just in an easy way, in a quick way to scale their solutions quickly. So
yeah, absolutely. To expound on that just a hair, Maria,
okay.
If I have to do something custom on a project that I'm working on, RAK has already released like Eagle design files and KiCad design files for if I want to design my own module, which we'll kind of go over the modules here in a moment. But if I want to make my own module and take that out to production and sell that to other developers, or give my designs away to other developers, that's something that those files are out there. The help is out there. The documentation is out there to absolutely make your own modules to extend the WisBlock ecosystem. So.
Completely. Yeah, you can find all the resources that you need, as well as the hardware components to build those. Like the WisBlock use a pretty tiny connector, which are the ones that are used for the iPhones, phones, like to connect their sensors, their camera, everything. So you can find all of those in our store to be like your own, like really tiny sensors or anything you need for the
very tiny. Yeah. And we don't just do the hardware. I mean, we also do the whole thing, the firmware, programming, testing, the whole stack, which is not something you usually get from hardware guys. Hardware companies prefer like millions. You give them this device, they make millions of that. They're very good at that. And RAK is a bit different, that we aim at this customized, bespoke IoT solutions, which are typically lower volume, but a lot more interesting as well. And just to add on that, RAK is now building a factory, so we'll be ready in Q4. This is going to help you 3D print things and laser cut, the whole stack. We'll be able to provide that.
And it's going to be open for visitors, right?
Yeah, we're putting a big investment in this. Sorry, what did you say?
That is going to be also open for visitors, right?
Next year, yeah, we hope that people will be able to visit. Yes,
yeah,
so.
Very cool.
Nice. And
where is this located, or where are you building out at?
It will be in Shenzhen, near where it's where the components are. We need to be near where the supply is.
Definitely.
Sure.
And Travis, what kind of application have you personally created with the WisBlock?
Well, actually, what I've done, and sadly, I haven't had as much time to put into WisBlock as I would like at this point. But I do have a couple of projects that I've been porting over. One is like a tilted bucket rain sensor that is 3D printable, that allows you to, put out in the field and have, precipitation, data sent back up to AWS. But I'm also working, and this is a newer project, but using a dog shock collar based around the the microphone sensor that is included in the Helium Dev Kit. And I've been cutting a lot of video lately, and I noticed you can see the waveform when you say and so whenever or these stutter words are sensed on the feed, it shocks you. It shocks the speaker for a training pattern. So yeah, I've just been wanting to play with an application on that microphone for a while, and using models or machine learning models that you can compare against. There's something called Edge Impulse that is an online system, free accounts. You can go over there, grab an account, and do machine learning model building, and then push that down to the WisBlock, which is usable on the system. It's not currently, I don't believe, one of the very few completely natively supported boards, but it should. Oh well, shoot! There we go.
Yeah, there we go. This is the project that one of our friends, right, Maria, made.
Yeah.
It's detect motion patterns using the edge impulse on WisBlock. And once you detect this, you can send them easily as like simple, very short data over the Helium network.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And no, this is a great project, and where you can recognize, you could use the same thing to, I guess, talk about a tennis swing, or I mean, if you have the WisBlock, because these boards are tiny. I mean, these guys are, this is the WisBlock baseboard. It's very small, and this is, could be easily, mounted on your wrist, right? And well, I mean, seriously, and with a sensor that is comparing the way that I'm moving my arm to a model that I built up or trained, saying, hey, this is how this movement is good, but if I do it like this, it's probably not going to be as effective. And so, yeah, with the WisBlock, you can absolutely do machine learning setups like that. So.
Pretty cool. And now I think we can jump on the unboxing. So
awesome.
We'll talk a little bit more about the different applications people can run using the different sensors, such as the microphone, as you mentioned. But there are a lot of other sensors and applications they can build. Oh, that looks really sexy.
Okay, so everyone can see this now, huh? Okay. Nice. So this is the RAK Helium Developer Kit. And as you can see here, it comes with 2 boards, right, and 2 cores, for each of these boards. And the thinking or the reasoning behind this is when you're developing something, you don't want to have to be taking one of your prototypes apart in order to try something else out, right? It's going to be wasted time, and really part of the goal of this kit is to make it as quick as possible to go from your idea to market, with this idea. And I really believe that having, what always gets me is this card comes in the kits and is so much larger than the actual board itself. I mean, that just tickles me that it's so much larger, so you can actually see the board. But anyway, you have two of these boards, 2 of the cores that are already connected. And just so I can't speak about some of the new modules that you've released, these cores are replaceable by other cores that RAK will be rolling out more of in the future. But these guys right here that are pre-affixed onto the baseboards have a Nordic chip which has BLE and a LoRa stack on them, which is so cool. It allows you, there's a gentleman over at RAK, Bernd, who has a library and a couple of projects based around this, where you can use your mobile phone to not only upload and connect to these guys over BLE, but you can change all of your LoRaWAN keys for it. And so I can burn the same firmware of these devices that I build and not have to change the keys and recompile when I'm flashing the firmware. I just, whoever the end user is, I use a mobile phone over BLE, and I change my keys using that interface. And so it makes it very easy to onboard onto the People's Network or the Helium Network just using your phone. So that's very cool. So anyway, you got two of these main boards, and the kit here. You have your sensor modules up here. Before we get to those, I'm going to talk about the industrial I/O. And there's three of these guys, and you have these breakouts, which make it very easy to connect wiring onto an existing sensor, or just leads onto something that's already deployed in the field. Connect it, using these buttons and the slide-in terminals here. But you have 0 to 5 volt. You can support Modbus, and you can support 4 to 20 milliamp systems, which are very common in industrial environments and PLC implementations and SCADA systems, because a lot of people and a lot of industries don't want to just say, okay, we're going to gut everything. We need to get on the cloud. We're going to cut everything out and replace everything. I mean, no one wants to do that,
No.
Because that would just be such a huge expenditure. It would, both in retraining and hardware, and just the downtime that you're going to have to, suffer from doing this. And so if you can interface with these existing industrial systems, that's the way to go. And industry understands this. And so
there is also like a really cool thing to highlight over here, and is that these sensors allows to power up the sensors already with 12 volts. Like normally, like this kind of sensor requires like an external power supply. So with this, you can go directly with just this tiny module. So it's pretty cool.
No, that's huge. That's huge. And I think everyone in the industry understands that you're not going to power most of the stuff with 3v3. But when you say that it gives you 12 volts, what that's actually doing is boosting that up. It's boosting
that to the battery.
To 12 volts. So if you see, this is how it actually snaps on and connects to the baseboard with one of these I/O devices. And if you can see a little closer, there's these holes here and here, and that's where you use these very tiny little screws and this very tiny
screwdriver.
And probably a magnifying glass. That's one thing that is not included in the kit, but you might want to invest in. And what this does, I've been told that a couple times. What this does, this binds the two boards together over that connector, and so any vibration is not going to shake your project apart. Right. I mean, it effectively is then treated, pretty much as one board. However, what you can do is, if I want to cut the power off on any of these module connectors, I can do that. Correct? I mean, if I want to turn this off for low power mode, if I know I'm not going to be needing this until some particular event happens, I can absolutely just kill power and not even be sleeping that unit, not even be using that module at all. So
you can turn them off. There's I/O for that, for all the modules. And same for the 12 volts. So if you're boosting, which uses a lot of power, you can also turn it off. So you can turn it on, get your reading from the sensor, then turn it off, and it goes into low power mode.
No, that's huge. So I guess moving on to the sensors.
The tiny things.
These are the
very, very tiny.
Tiny, about as big as your pinky nail is what I'd probably call that. But you can see that they also have a hole there. And so you can, there we go. That's how you get it to focus. Okay. So you can secure that with the baseboard. And so, each kit comes with 5 different sensors. And what all do we have here? We have an environmental sensor, which will give you temperature. It gives me humidity. It gives me barometric pressure, and also a quality of air index, right?
Volatile compounds index in the air. So this is like smells, bad smells, and some methane, kind of alcohol as well. It detects alcohol. You can actually make an alcohol sensor using that as well. You see the spike if you approach it with some vodka, for example.
Right. And that's using the Bosch sensor. That's
right. The BME 680. Yeah.
Right. There's also another one that gives us a 3-axis gyro, and so I can have a sense of the orientation of the board. There's a dedicated temp and humidity. I mean, you've got a lot of these little sensors, and what's cool here is on the board. If you look at where these modules mount, I have this over here is going to be our I/O for our larger, and we'll get to another one here in just a moment. But these connectors here, I have 4 of these on board. And so I can put 4 of these, small sensors, or a couple of the other ones that we're talking about here in a moment, on board and use all of them at the same time, right?
Yep. Yeah, that's right.
Now, if we go back to our the I/O, which is where I had just attached this guy, we have this, and what this is a sensor breakout, and you may recognize some of the layout here. These are Grove ports. And Grove is a modular system from the company Seed that allows you to, I don't know how many hundreds of different Grove sensors in this format that they have available, but there's lots of them. Microelectronica, they have a click system, I believe is what they call for these guys. And then there's Quick, a port right here, which you'll also see. Let me see. I believe this guy, which is you might recognize an old BlackBerry Bold keyboard, and then this is a touch screen. This was developed by
Arturo. Yeah.
Yes. See if I can get this to focus. But Arturo, which is a very, very cool feather-based. Well, you can't. I've got a case on it here, but there's a feather format right here that allows you to to use that. You've got buttons, but if you look on the side here. Oh, there we go. And this is the same Quick, I guess, port.
Yeah, from SparkFun, by the way.
From SparkFun. Exactly. Thank you. That is supported right here. And so you have 3 different formats that you can connect very easily to the I/O breakout, just on the end of this board, and have access to, you say, okay, the sensor doesn't come. It's not one of these, these sensors.
Yeah.
There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds that you can just plug right in there.
Yeah, and they can be 5-volt sensors as well, because there's a boost circuit on that board as well. So they can be 3 volts or 5-volt sensors.
That's awesome. That's huge.
We're aware there are many sensors out there that can be reused with our main board. So the idea was that make it easier for all the developers to connect all the sensors that maybe you already have in your workbench.
Oh yeah.
By using connector.
Well, I mean, because a lot of developers who've been doing IoT for a while, they have a drawer full of all of these Grove sensors, or these, and to be able to reuse those on this new system, to be able to have access to all of these sensors I just have in a drawer over here and use them on the Helium network, that's huge. So this is this tiny thing is GPS. And you also have a UFL connector here for your antenna, which there's a whole box. I've kind of covered the box up here, but there's a whole box filled with cables and antennas under here. I'll get to that momentarily. But this is one of, I guess, kind of the special modules that has to go a particular slot on the slot A here. And so it's going to take up this slot. But I still have access to my here. I'm kind of blind in this lighting condition here. There we go. Okay. And so that just snaps right on. I can secure it with a screw, and then I can throw a UFL compatible antenna on, which, let me clear this out a little bit. In the cable box, we have an active ceramic antenna that for GPS that comes with this guy, and antennas for all of our BLE and LoRaWANs, all the antennas. Yes, exactly. So this guy right here, this is going to be an active GPS antenna with the UFL that just snaps directly on to, and be careful with these because I think they have a rating for about 45 connections. You want to be careful not to bend your pens or anything. But yeah, so you have an active antenna, snaps directly onto this, which snaps on it, which clicks onto this, and then is screwed down to secure it onto this board. And there you go. You have some adhesive, some 3M, so you can stick this onto the outside of a case or whatnot.
Yep.
And okay, speaking of cases, there are 2 cases right now that RAK has available, and I will specify that these are not included in the Helium Developer Kit, and the reasoning behind that is the same as to why it doesn't come with a battery and it doesn't come with a display, because this kit is designed to develop your idea into a functional prototype, and anything that you can put on a screen, is just going to eat a lot of battery power. And you can get all that display, or all that information from the display just over your terminal cable, your USB, micro USB that you're going to be using to program the thing anyway. And if you want to add on like a small like OLED display, you can easily do that. And there's actually pins on the top right here that you can just throw little headers on that and throw a display right there.
Yeah, the pinout matches the displays already available. Like you can buy them for a couple of dollars easily.
For the most part, some OLED displays have your power and your ground switched. And yeah, so be very careful when you're doing that and verify. Because there is no
standard
reverse current protection on those little OLEDs, and you'll fry them in an instant. But yes, for the most part, you just throw a header on, stick it on. It's easy as that. This is a kit which kind of outlines the fact that these boards also have a dedicated solar connector, and so you have both your power JST and you have your solar JST, right? And the solar actually, it serves as a charger over to the LiPo unit, that the battery would connect to. And you can feed this with up to 5.5 volts, I believe, through the solar. Yeah. And what I had done on this guy, and so I've got my battery here, and then I have my solar, but I spliced in, you can't quite see it behind this tape, but it's okay, I'm going to ask, how is this actually officially pronounced, this technology? I always...
Qi. It's QI, but it's Qi because it's like the Qi from Taoism, I believe, something like that.
I got you. I always call it QI, but this would be a charger with a charging coil. Very nice. And so, with these connected, all you have to do is push the box up against this, and you'll get a light on your charging board, and it'll charge your battery up. And so you can do that with solar, and I've got a video up on the Helium hacks playlist if you want to take a look at that.
Actually, there is a question that fits completely well over here. I'm going to jump on this. That is how many sensors could roughly fit into the solar box that Travis has. So we can say that it can fit the 4 sensors on it on the main board. But I think the IO module, not all of them can fit into the box. But
actually the Modbus also fits there. We have a box with Modbus there, so it does fit.
It fits.
It does fit.
Okay, all the sensors can fit into it without any problem.
Yep.
And I think you could also probably put an 18650 in here as well.
Yeah.
There is another case that RAK has, more for, I guess, like an indoor environmental sensor type case. And 18650s do not fit here or in the case. It's you need to use
1650 something, yeah.
A different one, a smaller one. We'll just call it that. Yeah. But what's cool? Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
But if you go over, there's a WisBlock awesome list, and there have been some community contributed 3D printable enclosures that I don't know if we can pull those up, but there's some very cool ones that the community has contributed to allow you just to kind of print, enclosures and mount. They're kind of built specifically for the WisBlocks. There we go. Perfect.
Mm-hmm. Click.
So we mentioned antennas. You get BLE and LoRaWAN antennas for both boards. So you can run both of them. You can have them talking to each other. You can have them talking at the same time if you want. But wait, there's more.
Yeah.
Okay.
if you buy now,
right. Unfortunately, right now we're sold out, but
Exactly.
but
they're coming next week. More.
we're excellent. A lot of you will recognize this. Hopefully, this is a ESP32, and which has wireless or Wi-Fi on it. And this is I'm gonna let you explain this, because you just released a new core module based around this as well, right? So this is a little different than what is available there. This will actually connect over on the I/O and allow you to Wi-Fi enable a project, or you can program just on this guy here, and talk to the two over what is it? What UART between the two?
UART. Yeah, it's right.
Using AT commands, yeah. Like right now, like the usability of like this model can be just running over AT commands. But as Travis mentioned, we just released a new core that is just replace the main core. Travis, can you highlight the core of the WisBlock, please?
Yeah.
So
So we just have to replace like the stand model that you can see right there with the new core, which is the ESP32. So you can start playing with the ESP32 directly and using the structure of the infrastructure that the WisBlock provide to connect the sensors easily and start running your IoT solutions over Wi-Fi super easy.
Yeah, but we don't have LoRa on the ESP32 core.
Yeah, no, just over Wi-Fi.
Just to point that out. But using the AT commands, you can do something like if you're doing a tracker, something very common is to scan the Wi-Fi's, see what Wi-Fi base IDs are around, so you can use it for geolocation. So that's one application for the ESP32 module. And that's to connect to those special cables that just it's a way to get your signals out of the box. So if you put it in a box, so we had I2C and UART, and we had all those protective circuits. So those we have a eFuse there, and I think we have some more protection there. Just so if you connect into something outside the box, that's in the wild, like you can get wet and things like that. It just keeps everything protected. That's the idea of that module.
And each of these is a little different. So both these aren't identical ports here.
That's right.
But there is full specifications on how these break out. And, like you were saying, you have UART, I2C. There's a number of ports that break out here. And what I had done on my prototype box, which I don't have in front of me for some reason, is just to put these off into like screw terminals. And so it makes it very easy just to, throw a testing sensor or whatnot. Because I don't know if you could see scale. I don't have a quarter for scale either, but I mean, this is tiny. And so if you're messing with these pins, you definitely want some kind of breakout. And so you have this cable here, and I don't. Basically, you cut it in half.
I think we need to find a better way. Yes, actually. So good point, Travis.
Yeah, but no.
You
cut it in half, and then you can break out or splice into whatever sensor you're developing. Like I say, it's on the box. It's a dev kit. Okay, so. You got to be expecting, some things here. But there's little to no soldering. I will say that. I mean, nothing that we've talked about so far, except for the connection of an OLED display, which the headers right here are included. I mean, to throw on, you don't need to solder. All of this is connected with these very, very tiny screws. So
they look bigger in the photo in the image.
Yeah, they do. When you actually, but one thing that is nice, this comes pre-magnetized, and so with a very small bit on it, and so it very easily grabs those little screws, and you can kind of line up, get down, and then it has a barrel rotator, rotate them right into place. So, with that, I believe that is kind of the rundown of everything that comes in the Helium Dev Kit. So,
actually, we go through. Did you present?
Oh, no, that's not. Is it? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead. But the microphone. I wanted to.
Oh yeah, that's unique to this kit.
It is unique to the dev kit, right?
Yeah.
And so I wanted to mention that. That is one that kind of came through, with our small guys here. Is that or no? Or I don't even have that in this kit, do I? Here, let me rob this other kit. Sorry, I'm actually working on a project with that right now. So here we go.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And
PDM microphone module, stereo as
Yeah.
well, so we get both sides.
right. So you have 2 channels on the PDM mic, and then this just plugs in just on the top of the board. Yeah.
Lero is saying like, don't forget your magnifying glasses.
Yeah, I think
that's too true.
That. We need to include that. Good point.
But go ahead, Maria. I'm sorry to interrupt. I did just want to. I realized that it wasn't. I kind of robbed that out of this kit for something. So
No problem at all. Actually, like those who get like the Helium Developer Kit, I think were the first one receiving the microphone modules. Actually.
yeah.
Yep. That's right.
Pretty cool.
But we have code already, so it's already on the repo. You can get it up and running super quick on Arduino, and you can get a plot like seeing the signals already like out of the box. Just run the example.
Yeah, you folks have been scrambling like crazy, to get all of that updated. Both with the library 2.0 and all of the associated code examples. And so if you go over to the RAK WisBlock GitHub, there's tons of examples, and beyond examples, there's something that you're calling what samples or they're more
solutions. Like
solutions.
Yeah, that's right.
It's more of a fully built out example, not just, for example, like how to use a temperature sensor, but it's how you would set up like a smart agriculture sensor. And so they're really more developed solutions. So make sure you don't overlook those when you're going through the GitHub there.
Definitely. I will like jump in some questions that we have over the comment sections. With the ESP32 core, can we connect LoRa via the I/O port? Yes.
Not the core though. Not the core.
Yeah.
No.
But you can connect the core. Yeah.
Core.
I was no. It's directly with the core in the core section of the WisBlock. Yeah. I get it wrong. I have another. Let me start with the first ones. So, do you have any sensor for pH, turbidity sensors for water?
Oh, I love this topic actually. So it's we don't at the moment, but you could integrate a lot of the sensors for pH. For example, use Modbus, so you can easily integrate with that. But I'd like something more custom. Maybe it will come.
Actually, if I'm not wrong, there is like an example for pH on the solution folder.
That's soil pH. I believe.
Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, not the water.
Okay, no worries.
But you're right, and because they use Modbus or even 420 on a lot of this, you have those industrial I/O breakouts that can be used with most sensors on the market. pH is notoriously hard to keep calibrated.
That's right. And turbidity as well. Very difficult.
Yeah, right.
Especially when it's inside in the water, it just you get all this growth around the sensor, which affects your readings.
But this kit does have the capabilities of interfacing with most of those sensors on the market. I was looking through just kind of what's out there right now the other day, and this can definitely talk to it. So,
yep.
Nice. Okay. Would like to have an in-person Helium conference when safe to have. Want to touch the hardware, antennas, accessories, dev sessions. Definitely.
You and me both. Yeah.
HeliumCon 2022. Yeah, let's make it happen.
Definitely.
No, we're excited about that, and it's just something that
happen. Nice.
Awesome.
To see, like all the people encouraged here to have this amazing conference. HeliConf.
we just want to make sure that it will be a safe event, and that we don't want to put anyone at risk. But it's something that we like I say, we have spoken about. It's something we definitely want to meet everyone, all these devs in person. But up until that point, we do have weekly Helium Hacks Happy Hour, which is like a video call. I've got to plug this. Sorry, Maria, but
go ahead.
But we hold that every Wednesday. And drop in, and it's just talking with other developers. It's a very casual conversation where you can ask questions, show off projects. If you want to give a presentation, hit me up beforehand, and I'll make sure that we kind of get some social blasts or whatever out on that, and so you can give your presentation and get it out there. But it's fun. We've been doing it for well over a year now, and it seems that a couple of people out there still enjoy it. So.
Actually, there is the link of the Helium Discord channel on the video description. So just click on it, join the Discord, and you can get all the events news right there to join, just like the Helium Happy Hacks Hour or any of the other events they launch weekly.
Cool.
Yeah, we have like good comments and people talking each other about the community, about the conference, the product itself. Other ones that we have here is, can I use to power my 5-volt sensors?
I think it depends on the current it needs, but it should be able to do both. Most sensors, I believe.
Yeah.
Nice. Another question that is not directly related to the kit. Just got my 7249. It doesn't come with an instruction where I can get helps on installation instruction. You can refer to our documentation center. Anyway, I can contact you after the call and send you all the link, but you can find all the instructions that you need to set up your gateway easily. You can find everything on the documentation center. And let's see. I love Helium Hacks.
Good. I love hearing that.
Okay. It's grown a lot lately, right? It started with like 10 members, and now it's almost 50 every time. So really
good. we had a little over 50 this week. So yeah, it's nice, and we've got some great things coming up. So check the events, but we've got some great. I know this is going to go on YouTube, so it does. It doesn't make sense to really promo something specifically here, but check it out. Next week's going to be cool as hell.
Definitely. And Elliot, thanks. Like, we are super excited to see that these two shows are the favorite shows of your week.
That's cool.
Oh, brilliant!
That's good
Thank
to
you.
hear. That's good to hear. Thanks.
I think like that's like all for the session. I think we can jump on that giveaway that you mentioned at the beginning.
Yeah.
So like all of those who are connected, let's say, I was thinking that everyone who are connected can place a tweet on, of course, Twitter. I'm going to put a template over here on the screen. So the first tweet that comes pops will receive the Helium Developer Kit. So make sure to use the WisBlock hashtag, tag Helium and tag RAKwireless. So here is the template that you have to follow. And the first one, I'm going to share my screen over here. Okay, I think we already received.
Okay. Already received. Oh my God.
Let's see. Share my
and it's over.
Sold out again.
Yeah, right.
No. I was another notification.
Okay.
So let's see.
Who's the winner?
Okay.
This is dangerous, Maria. Like live Twitter. Oh my God.
Yeah, live Twitter. The first one who put this template on Twitter will receive the Helium Developer Kit.
This is about as live as it gets, huh? Yeah.
This one. So
I'm scared now.
Why?
I don't trust social media.
Why? Top WisBlock.
Could be worse. Could be Telegram, I guess. Could be worse.
Sure.
No
one wants it.
I guess no one wants the dev kits. Yeah.
Oh my God.
We tried. We tried, guys.
We tried. Sorry, guys.
Let's shut it down. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Let's see for this time. Okay, we receive it. 36 seconds. HNT hop.
Oh, from Elio, right? Good stuff. Good.
We have.
Thank you, Elio.
Thanks,
Oh, we have
everyone.
another one.
Yeah,
Oh
we already received 3. No, one is repeated, but
2, yeah.
Okay, thanks guys for your participation. I will contact you via DM to arrange the shipment of the kit. And yeah, I think that was all for the session. Well, I would like to jump just on one question. We are like running out of time right here, but I have a bonus question right here that I would like to jump on. And is that if you have like any tips on how hotspot deployment could be combined with sensor solutions, like it could be like a good opportunity when meeting new hotspots and help justify more hotspot locations.
I think we talked about this, right? With
Well, with the open source tools.
With suggesting solutions when you go install an hotspot. I think like if you go to a building, for example, like I think a big problem so far has been like the condo associations, like getting approval for that. So maybe if you say, oh, we can monitor like the air quality in the building, for example, at the same time, maybe it will help deploy hotspots.
Sure.
Get that approval going at least. So it's not just the rewards anymore.
Exactly.
That's what the question was on.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
Okay. Well, that's all for today's session. Travis, thank you so much for.
Thank you so much for having me. I really had a great time today.
Thanks a lot, man. Thanks a lot, and see you on Wednesday again as usual.
Definitely.
Adios, folks.
Okay. And also for all of those who connect today, we hope to see you next week. And also an important thing to highlight here. Next week, we are going to have a special guest who will be sharing her story in the tech world, and also will be presenting a project that she is working on that is directly related with the WisBlock and the Helium. So stay tuned to our social media channels and connect at the same hour next week. So happy hacking, folks, and ciao, ciao.
See you then. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Take care, folks. Adios.
Adios.